Steven Universe Future, Episode 4 Volleyball is a very emotional time, as it really does kind of highlight how it can be hard to overcome problematic relationships, and sometimes hard to really admit that they were ever problematic to begin with, or even to accept that someone you thought you knew might have had another side to them. It's a lot to unpack, but let's begin. As we see that Steven has, I guess to a degree, his own medical practice to a certain degree. I mean, I don't really think he needs documentation since he is, to a certain degree, kind of royalty in terms of gem race. So it does raise a lot of questions, but he takes his time out to heal gems who have their gems cracked in any way, shape, or form, because, that's what he's about, helping and healing, which especially comes in handy when a lot of the court soldiers kind of play a little too rough during a game of volleyball. Ugh. But we also have, of all people, Pink Pearl show up to see if she can have the crack on her face healed. However, Stephen finds that he's not able to do it for some reason, even needing to double check his powers to see if maybe the problem is him. But no, it seems to go deeper than that. And he's even more shocked when he finds out that the crack on Pink Pearl's face was not, as most people thought, a result of something that White Diamond did. No, it is the result of Pink throwing a temper tantrum, which, ooh, it gets Steven's emotions flaring, because that's the name of the game when it comes to this part of the series. Steven's emotions just flaring up from time to time. So Stephen is left a little bit dumbstruck on what to do. So he ends up going to Pearl, who is, reffing the volleyball game, to see if maybe he could get some help from her. However, he does realize that interacting with two people named Pearl might be a little bit tricky, so he decides to nickname Pink Pearl Volleyball, of all things. A little too on the nose, my friend there. You easily could have named her Sand or something, and at least that would have been a little bit more fitting considering how pearls are made. However, you know, Pink Pearl still seems to kind of have these longing feelings for Pink Diamond. Thinking about the whole convention for naming, various different creatures, these interesting and quirky names. That was Pink Diamond's whole thing, and Steven apparently has that penchant as well, which we've seen throughout the course of the original series. And Pearl kind of questions, just like, okay, yeah, I really wonder what White Diamond did to her, with Steven not owning up to exactly how volleyball got that particular injury. But they end up traveling to this place called the Shell, I think it was. A place where, no, the Reef. It was the Reef. A place where pearls come to kind of get, repaired, dressed up, gussied up, all that kind of stuff. It's basically like pimping out your pearl for the most part. And they interact with this AI called Shell. That was my bit of confusion. That helps lead them to the center for repairing pearls. And while our Pearl has moved past a lot of this kind of stuff, that's her character growth. Back in the day, she would have been all about this kind of stuff, Yeah, but nowadays, where she's at, the emotional growth that she's had, has helped her kind of move past any interest in this kind of accessorizing. for the sake of someone else. Whereas volleyball is all about that. She still carries around the ribbon that Pink Diamond gave to her and fully embraces it. However, when they do reach the Rejuvenation Center, I think it's called, we're met with a bit of a shock, as Shell says that the damage that Volleyball has sustained isn't to do with her gem. No, that's fully fine and healed. No, this damage is just there because it's, well, as Steven puts it, it's psychological. While her gem is perfectly fine, her mind, Volleyball's mind, Pink Pearl's mind, is very much not. And, our Pearl questions is just like, how could White Diamond do something so cruel to just leave this everlasting scar on Volleyball? But then Volleyball admits that no, it wasn't White Diamond, it was Pink Diamond who did this, saying that it was back when Pink Diamond was begging for a colony and got rejected. She lashed out with her, you know, incredible strength and ended up doing some real damage, which leaves Pearl very much dumbstruck. She's just like, "What? Pink Diamond didn't have destructive powers. She had healing powers." But Volleyball remembers things a lot differently. The Pink Diamond she knew wasn't a secretive person. She wasn't a subtle person. She was very immature, volatile, destructive. And this kind of leads to a bit of an argument that ends up extending to Steven, who has become all too frustrated with hearing about all the terrible things his mother has done. It's become a little bit too much for him because he just wants to fix Pink Pearl, to just move on from this terrible thing that his mother did and just kind of move past things. Very much like the previous episode. He just wants to be done with all the grief that his mother caused. And that causes his power to be unleashed. And this really kind of highlights something that I always kind of question, but I questioned it in the moment I saw it, not so much over the course of the series. And that's that when we first saw our first image of Pink Diamond, when we finally saw her face fully revealed, it was her shattering a mirror and just lashing out. But later down the line, that wasn't the Pink Diamond that we got. When we got the revelation as to who Rose Quartz actually was, she seemed a little bit more calm, reserved, kind of laid back to a certain degree. Even in the flashback in Steven Universe, the movie with Spinell, she didn't seem that angry or overly emotional. But then again, that was a much younger Pink Diamond before she had come to Earth, before she had made her change. And this is something that never really kind of dawned on me, and it didn't stick in the back of my mind just how volatile Pink Diamond used to be. The person that she was is starting to kind of come out in Steven to a certain degree. This berserk power that seems to be just lying dormant beneath the surface. This frustration, this anger, this resentment that he has towards his mother and the deeds that she committed. Just, it keeps bubbling to the surface here and there. And he's showing all the bad sides of Pink Diamond shining on in her son. And, Volleyball ends up, reacting in a way that someone who has been abused would, cowering from this physical confrontation, this show of pink anger. It's sad, honestly. This is something that you never want to see, to really drive home that Pink. Pink was the real villain of a lot of people's lives. despite the fact that her actions did a lot to help people, but the way she went about it, the things she did in her past, the person she used to be, it was not a good person. Even right up until the end, Pink was selfish. She was very cold in ways that just never quite went away. It just changed form. However, even Steven is kind of shocked to see this side of himself coming out, this anger. Steven was never angry before, but, he's a teenager now. His emotions are coming out in ways that he can't quite control. And Shell kind of picks up on this anger and thinks that, oh, these disobedient pearls are causing grief to the diamond. They must be reconfigured, reset, to be readjusted. And so this very painful process starts up. And, during this, Pearl has a moment of just, trying to make up with the volleyball because she realizes that she was still making excuses for Rose, for Pink Diamond, that she was still trying to just, you know, she hadn't quite moved past everything. She couldn't accept that maybe there were still things about Rose that she didn't know, that maybe someone else had other experiences with Rose as well. And Volleyball comes to the realization as well that she was also making excuses for Pink, saying that, oh, it wasn't her fault, she didn't mean it. That's not right. If you have to explain something on the behalf of someone else, something's wrong there. Something is terribly wrong there. And Volleyball questions how Pearl moved past all of this, how she was able to heal. But Pearl admits that she never truly moved past this. She never truly got better. She still carries the weight of this portrayal, of the abuse, of the neglect. You know, abuse comes in various different forms. You can abuse someone physically, but you can also abuse someone mentally. Someone who really needed you to be something better for them, and you weren't. And it is this moment that they actually fuse because of their shared ideals, their shared mental state, the bond that they feel. It causes them to fuse into Mega Pearl, who has this revolutionary girl Utena kind of look about them. It's just like, oh, that's taking me back to high school when I first saw this series. I love it. And all the style and grace that comes about it as Mega Pearl and Steven do their best to escape when Shell tries to, lock them in and just kind of attack them for the most part. But they manage to bust out and shut down the Shell as well as the reef entirely. And once they make it back to Earth, Steven apologizes for the trip just being a waste of time, but Mega Pearl says that no, it was only thanks to this trip that Mega Pearl was able to fully understand Rose, Pink, the being known as Rose Quartz and Pink Diamond. The questions that lingered in both Pearl's mind. For our Pearl, it was the question of why it seemed as though Rose Quartz was in such a hurry to move past the person that she was, what she was running from. And the original Pearl, Pink Pearl, Volleyball, getting an understanding that, why it was that that Pink Diamond needed to change in the first place, to become something more, to become something better. It didn't quite work out for the best, but there was at least an attempt, if nothing else. Does that make her a villain? Does that make her a good person? Who's to really say, honestly? It's very easy to just write her off as a bad person, but emotions can be complex, and it's hard to know when your actions might just end up having consequences that you could never foresee. But both Pearls have come to term with this. Both Pearls have come to term with themselves. And while it doesn't quite seem like Volleyball has completely healed, as we don't see the other side of her face, something she was able to get something out of all of this. Something that hopefully might end up helping her get to that point where she can fully get better at some point, where she can move past this. The journey that our Pearl took has now become the journey that Volleyball will take. A journey to discover herself and what it really means to be her own person, to move past someone who might not have been as great as they thought they were. And that's okay. As long as you're willing to just open your mind, recognize when things aren't right, and just move on with your life to at least try, well, that's the first step. The rest of that journey is up to you. But tell me your thoughts and feelings on this episode in the comment section below. It's definitely a very impactful episode, and I loved it. I got chills from it. I was on the verge of tears because I love emotional self-discovery moments like this. I never really would have thought about it, but that's what Future seems to be all about. Just dealing with the lingering emotional baggage from everything that Rose Quartz did. And, just seeing where Steven can go and what Steven can do to, for the most part, make up for a lot of things that Rose did. And sometimes finding out he can't really be the one to make up for any of that. It's kind of up to those who were impacted by Rose, by Pink. That's what it's all about. Just helping people take that first step towards something better. Again, thoughts, comments in the comment section below. If you like this video, leave me a like or don't. It's all up to you. But until the next video, I want to thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you soon. Until then, take care.